Okay, so now you can kind of see, I'm trying to get close enough. I do between an eighth and a quarter inch seam allowance on the sides. This is the one where I stopped here and then cut and then started up from here. The reason this is important is that you're going to turn this inside out when you're done, and you need to be able to reach in here and grab the fabric and pull it out, because right now these sides aren't done, but they will be. That's our next step. And I'm going to try to figure out how to videotape that. It's a little bit tricky, but you've got your 8-inch long elastic. So you're going to open one of those sides that you didn't sew shut already. Put this inside. So I've got my elastic inside there. If you can, you probably can't see, sorry. I'm not set up for this sort of thing. But you're going to line it up with the side seam. And a little bit sticking out is fine. It doesn't have to be an exact length when you're done. 8 inches just seems to make it so that it's not pulling on the ear when you're done. So then you're going to start sewing here. When you start sewing, I would back stitch this, even though we'll be going over it again later, just because you want that to be secured in there as much as you can, that elastic, so that when they're putting it on, it doesn't pull out of the fabric. But you're going to sew then all the way across that same seam allowance, an eighth to a quarter inch. It's kind of up to you. Before you get all the way to the end, and I can't pin mine. Some people use use the shorter, the 6-inch I was telling you about. They pin theirs at the beginning and end. Number one, I'm not a good pinner. It frustrates me. And number two, since I use a 9-inch one, that won't work because it'll bundle your fabric up. So, and I'll send a picture of that, but of what I'm talking about after I get it partially sewn. But you're going to want to make sure that it's, what I'm feeling on right now is the elastic in there, because once you get to about here, you're going to reach your hand in, you're going to grab that other end of elastic, and then before you sew this side shut, you're going to attach the other side to here. So inside your 2 pieces of fabric, you will have elastic. Just make sure that you don't have it twisted or anything. And the first time feels a little tricky. After you do it a couple of times, it'll become second nature to you. But then you'll have a seam all the way across here. Back stitch at the end again. You'll want to back stitch at the end again to anchor that as good as you can. I did not back stitch on any of my original seams up here or here, just because you'll see later, you'll be going back through that again once you turn it inside out. So really all you're going to do is kind of make yourself a thicker fabric to get through, and it's not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that, and I'll check in on the next step.